Good evening and welcome tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari harps on the need for member states of OPEC and non-OPEC members to cooperate and find a common ground to stabilize crude oil prices. The president orders an investigation into the clashes between herdsmen and indigents of communities in Benue State. The House of Representatives investigates the impeachment of the Speaker of the Kogi State House of Assembly. And NPFL champions Eyimba advance to the first round of the CAF Champions League. Good evening once again. I am Amarachi Ubani. We begin tonight in Doha, Qatar, where Nigeria's #1 citizen, President Muhammadu Buhari, has continued to press the pedal in his quest to see that an amicable solution is found to the nail-biting issue of dwindling oil prices. During a bilateral meeting with Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of the State of Qatar, President Muhammadu Buhari described the current market situation in the industry, which has seen oil prices plummet by 70% since mid-2014, as totally unacceptable. According to the president, as members of OPEC and gas exporting countries forum, our relations in the areas of oil and gas, which our two nations heavily rely on, need to be enhanced and coordinated for the benefit of our people. The president goes on to commend existing cordial bilateral relations between both countries and invited prospective Qatari investors to take advantage of the abundant opportunities in Nigeria and invest in key areas of energy, agriculture, real estate development, banking and finance. Staying with the president's shuttle diplomacy, Nigeria and the state of Qatar have signed bilateral air services agreements to pave way for direct flights between major cities of both countries. Both countries also signed an agreement to avoid double taxation and tax evasion. This was discussed on the sidelines of President Buhari's visit to Qatar. The Minister of State for Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, who stood in for President Buhari, signed the air services agreement on behalf of the country, while Qatar's Minister of Transportation and Communications, Jassim bin Saif Al Sulaiti, signed on behalf of the Emir of Qatar. Qatar believes that the accord would promote trade, commerce, tourism and travel between both countries. Nigeria stands a lot to benefit economically from the president's recent trips to Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and that's according to the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. He said this today as he appeared as a guest on our program, Sunday Politics. The minister explains the need for Nigerians to understand the reason for the president's trips, which are aimed at achieving the gains of democracy.
There was that he called on all the members of oil exporting exporting countries, OPEC and non-OPEC members, to ensure that they agree on either production cost or a strategy that will firm up the price of crude. And of course, we are going to take the direct benefit of this in Nigeria. In Qatar also, he actually led Nigeria to sign two agreements. One was a bilateral air service agreement between Nigeria and Qatar, which will allow for both countries to have a reciprocal flights. And another is an agreement to prevent double taxation and also tax evasion. This, of course, is going to improve the investment climate between the two countries. And they also urged Qatarians to invest in agriculture, in banking, real estate, and finance. And these are areas where there are investment opportunities, and he promised and assured them that their property and their investment will be safe.
Minister of Information Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the President today ordered an investigation into recent clashes between herdsmen and indigenes of communities in Benue State. President Muhammadu Buhari, who expressed deep shock at the latest incident, which left hundreds of people dead in 4 communities in Agatu area, ordered security agencies to unravel the cause of the incident. He said, "We will conduct an investigation to know exactly what happened. The only way to bring an end to the violence once and for all is to look beyond one incident and ascertain exactly what factors are behind the conflicts." President Buhari urged Nigerians to learn to live together in peace and unity. He also assured the government and people of Benue State that the federal government will do everything possible to prevent a recurrence. In its continuous bid to occupy liberated towns, cities and villages in the northeast, the Nigerian Army has reopened the Maiduguri-Damboa Expressway for civilian passage. The 88-kilometer road has been deserted ever since the Boko Haram insurgents captured Damboa local government area 2 years ago, hoisting their flag in July 2014.
Damboa is one of the first towns on the fringes of Sambisa Forest, sacked by the outlaws in the wake of the northeast Nigeria insurgency. The few buildings standing in Damboa, now a ghost town, are ridden with bullets and telltale signs of a showdown between insurgents and federal troops. Civilian Joint Task Force volunteers assisting the army along the Damboa road attest to the fact that the area has indeed been liberated. They're appealing to villagers to consider returning to their homes.
We are glad this is happening. We also pray that what happened before does not happen again. We want to thank the government, security operatives, and the Chief of Army Staff.
The National Union of Road Transport Workers operating in Borno State, who bore the brunt of closure of roads, are happy to be back in business.
It is only one road that we have in this state. If you want to come to either Damboa, Adamawa or Chibok, you have to go round. A journey that you will spend 500 naira, we are now charging 4,000. So our members will be happier and they are going to ply this road.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Burutai, reads the riot acts to soldiers of the 25 Brigade in Damboa, insisting that the road be kept safe at all times.
I don't want to hear any case of attack of innocent civilians or motorists on this road henceforth. Our troops must be alert 24 hours to ensure that this road is kept open. We would like to call on all the good people of Borno, especially those that ply this road, to be rest assured we will do our best to protect them as they ply this road.
The Army Chief has also injected combat motorbikes in the theatre of operations. This is in addition to force multiplier and added firepower, which according to him would add impetus.
The Nigerian Army says it will continue to adopt new ways of dealing with the nation's security challenges, especially as it concerns the Niger Delta. That's according to the Commander 2 Brigade of the Nigerian Army, who said this during the brigade's graduation ceremony of regular recruits intake in Abonema, Rivers State. Our correspondent Emmanuel Iri reports.
A demonstration of the resuscitation exercise by newly trained soldiers of 2 Brigade Nigerian Army. This is what the graduation ceremony of the brigade cadre for regular recruit intake soldiers in Abonema, Rivers State looks like. The exercise involves sea survival demonstrations in a crisis situation to prepare the men for the challenges in their peculiar environment. The terrain in the riverine communities presents its own security challenges, and according to the 2 Brigade Nigerian Army, the watermanship exercise is to prepare its men to deal with the security challenges in the creeks and bring safety and security to the people in the community. Residents in the community say security around the creeks is a concern to the people.
We are urging federal government, corporate bodies to make sure that they finance the military to stand up for their duty so that they will salvage us from this mess.
Attention then shifts to Harristown for the watermanship demonstration. Commander 2 Brigade believes the army is currently faced with challenges that require regular training for their officers.
Let me remind you that the Nigerian army is facing a great deal of challenges, and we can only overcome these challenges through regular training. The challenges of terrorism and insurgency in the northeastern part of the country has brought to the fore the need for training in order to improve on the achievement recorded so far. Additionally, the dynamics of our society today places a heavy demand on the Nigerian Army to be more professional in the discharge of its responsibilities.
The terrain in the Niger Delta and the area of responsibility of 2 Brigade, it's riverine. And in the course of discharging our responsibilities, we have to operate in the riverine environment. Most of these young soldiers are coming from places that have never seen water before, but at least you saw all of them participate, and we believe that it will really assist in the discharge of our responsibilities.
As these young soldiers seem set to get into the fray of real-life battles, the army is expected to keep up with the fight against elements that threaten the nation's security. Emmanuel Ire, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, we'll take a look at the worrisome issue of violence against children. Do stay with us.